a little bit for back and forth to tie that tie of who we think is the better Judge Dredd between Sylvester Stallone and Carl Urban.
I know who the winner is already. I'm so confident.
All right, let's talk about who Judge Dredd is. Judge Dredd is a very serious character who believes in the law, and is utterly ruthless when it comes down to it. He has no qualms about being a judge, jury, and executioner. Not judge, jury, executioner. What is he called?
That's exactly what he is.
Okay.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Okay.
I mean, there's only a few crimes I think that the tribunal goes through, but for the most part, in the big Alpha City one where he works, basically,
yeah,
as a law enforcement official, the judges are basically that. That's why they're called judge. So they basically carry enough firepower to stop a small army. But that's kind of the concept of, basically, cutting criminals down very quickly, instead of flooding the system basically with, just garbage stuff. They either deal with it quickly or terminate you, basically. I mean, the mega city, that's what they were called, mega cities. I'm trying to remember what they were called. Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 mega cities, but the one I think he works in is Mega City 1, which is basically what's left of the Eastern Seaboard, or most of humanity in the Eastern Seaboard. But they're basically law officers that carry a lot of authority to basically handle things. And since they're overpopulated, dropping a few criminals is not a problem. They're still the law, and he works within the confines of the law, but he takes no crap, has no worries, no concerns. I mean, he's literally, I hate to use the word the Terminator, but he just keeps coming.
Yeah, he's a human Terminator.
Yeah, he's a human Terminator. And we had Stallone back in the early 90s, I think is when that one came out.
95.
And we had Judge Dredd, which was really cool because he brought out the character. We got to see, their interpretation of Mega City. We got to see, kind of what he was going to be was basically he was a clone, basically an reference, a clone to basically replace an aging population of judges. So a clone could be set not to, basically be programmed with the law and only the law and deal with it. But he developed more of a personality, and so the Chief Justice, I think what it was in charge of, it was the Janus program, if I remember right. It's been a while, but I think it was Janus program. And there was actually another, basically a twin that was created who was uncontrollable, unmanageable. You had the good guy and the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But, they had a lot of comedy, but we got to see, Dredd took his helmet off. He got busted for crimes. I mean, there was a lot of setup in that movie. But that's where the differentiation between the two styles come into play. Okay, yeah, Stallone was a badass, but not as close to Karl Urban. Karl Urban, I think,
he nailed it.
He is Judge Dredd. At no point in time did you ever see him take his helmet off. Ever. He stayed in character. He was very little interaction.
Yeah.
He was basically handling the law through his eyes, and he still had the badassness, because the very first scene you run into, the criminal guy, he was trying to give him a chance to kind of get out of it and just walk away from it, and the guy just kept at it. So, he took care of business. But I like the way he did it. It's going to get hot in here.
This is the biggest difference between the two. And I think, and Sylvester Stallone made the same mistake Angelina Jolie did when she played Tomb Raider. Instead of them playing their respectable characters, they had moments where they played their characters, but then it overall became a movie about them.
Mm-hmm.
You're watching Tomb Raider, there's some moments where you feel she's more lower crop, but there's more moments where it's like she's just being Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, they're ad-libbing the character,
yeah,
bringing that personality to a character who really didn't have a personality. I mean, you're talking about, Judge Dredd was a comic, Tomb Raider was a game. You don't create the personality for Tomb Raider. You have a story, a background.
Yep.
and basically you have a blueprint for that character, and they were trying.
Yep.
I mean, granted, it's the movies; they're trying to expand it, make the character more likable. But
and the thing about it is, like movies like this, they don't need like big name action stars, because that's like the biggest problem with it. Instead of your action stars playing that character, their presence, their own presence overshadows the character. And that's one, like what we was talking about earlier, how he's Judge Dredd. He doesn't remove his helmet. The moment he removed his helmet, I mean, you can see the Stallone peek through, but the moment he removed his helmet, it went from Judge Dredd movie to Sylvester Stallone.
Yep, totally agreed. Because now they're adding a personality to a character who has his own distinguishing characteristics, and adding more story of that. I mean, I understand why they did it, but for the diehard fans, the people who wanted to see the true Judge Dredd character, the Karl Urban movie was what you were looking for. Cold, calculating, smart, intelligent. Not a lot of dialogue. I mean, there was Judge didn't really say much.
Yeah,
and that's the way he was in the comics. I don't think I've ever even seen Judge ever taking his helmet off. They don't care what he does after work. Or if he ever does go off work. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen one really.
It's like the Lego Batman movie. The whole time Batman just has his helmet on.
Yeah, he's always got his wearing a robe, wearing a Speedo, whatever, I still love that Batman. Yeah. I so much love the Lego Batman. No, clown snakes. That's what I'm scared of, clown snakes. But, I mean, that's where they came from. I mean, I say I like the urban. It was much more dystopian society, much more
I want to say it was dark.
I said dystopian society, right? And I just happened to pull up Judge Dredd because I wanted to find something else out real quick. And right there, it actually says Judge Dredd is a law enforcement and judicial officer in the dystopian future of Mega City 1. Wow. Look at the big word for today, people. Big word. Dystopian.
And he definitely is like, I came up with a list of like top 20 like comic book incarnations in the film, like perfectly cast. Karl Urban hit the list. Perfectly cast.
It's just like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I mean, you might have had a better choice. I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that would have fit that caricature. I like Karl Urban. I like a lot of the movies he's been in. I like his style of character. And granted, it's kind of like a complete opposite of most of the characters I've seen him play.
Yeah.
Where he's playing Bones. And I love him. He fits it. I mean, he rolls right into that character and takes it on and makes it his own character. But it's still, it's still Bones.
Yeah.
But it's Karl Urban.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to find the.
And I think, another thing with the Sylvester Stallone performance is, I think he was a bit cocky a little bit, and he also didn't have that. I don't think he carried that presence. Because one thing I know I did not like about the movie, and it wasn't on him, I didn't like their outfits. The big pauldrons, the big shoulder things that they had.
Yeah, they were kind of a little overkill for the Judge.
Yeah, I was like, if you need to move fast and you got that right there, could be a potential problem. Whereas in the design for Karl Urban, his outfit is like full on tactical.
Yeah, it still has the Judge feel, but it is definitely a modified, upgraded body armor built for work. I mean, I think they had a lot of brought in a lot of special operations type folks to kind of come in and help with that design. And a lot of that body armor that he did have on is actually stuff that's actually in play right now in some of our special forces / operations groups. So pretty cool that they put it in.
And I read I was reading through the one of these forums. I was like, they said something that I agree with. They said he also importantly gets quite significantly injured, which reminds us that he's not a god, he's a guy. And I thought about it, I was like, yeah, Karl Urban got messed up quite a bit in that movie.
And he did too, but you know what? He kept coming.
Yes, and like I said, I like Sylvester Stallone. I'm not saying that he did a bad job as the character, but it gets to the point where it's like, well, the first part of the movie when he shows up, there's this big shootout. What does he do? Walks out into the middle of the shootout, and the little microphone comes up, and then he's like telling them to surrender. And I was like, that's kind of cocky. It's like that's not tactical. And like that moment, I could understood if he was ran to cover and did it and then did it, but he didn't. He just kind of stood there in the middle of the not like blast him. That's not a tactical advantage. Shoot him.
But open up and let it fly.
Yeah, like that moment. But then you got the Karl Urban when he's like, yeah, he would take cover, but he would say, hey, you know what I mean? You have this amount of time to lay down your weapons and comply with the law. And that felt more believable. Like it felt like he took the situation more seriously. Cause that's every time I think about the Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, I remember that moment where he just stands there with his fist on his hips, and he just talking to these guys like that. And I'm like, why were you doing